What a day in college football. Lee Corso feeling the Missouri love. They get 11 wins for the first time in school history, and they control their own destiny. Much more on what it all means. And you won't believe, Tennessee and Kentucky. 4 overtime thriller on the way.
So with Missouri's win over Kansas, they have Oklahoma in the Big 12 title game. Chase Daniel making his Heisman case, 40 of 49, 361 yards, 3 touchdowns. For much more on what this all means, Chris Fowler anchoring our game day coverage from Arrowhead Stadium.
Cold night in Kansas City. The Jayhawks make the Tigers earn it, but Chase Daniel, the difference maker, 40 of 49. Missouri gets points on each possession after halftime. He was absolutely brilliant in this game tonight.
Well, he was a difference in the Missouri football team, but the thing that impressed me the most in seeing him in person is his escapability. He doesn't look like physically he can move around as well as he does, and he moves around, Kirk. And the thing that impressed me, Kirk, he's always looking downfield to make the big play. He made 2 or 3 big plays in this game off the scramble and escapability that I think was the difference in winning this football game. I'll tell you one thing, Oklahoma better be ready, because this guy could score some points against him.
Well, the one thing I saw from Chase Daniel, not just the poise, not just the ability to make pressure when the game was on the line. I saw a guy that had outstanding leadership. His coach calls it, of course, the it factor, the intangibles. It was on display tonight, and Kansas self-destructed in the first half. Blown opportunities. They came into the game leading the nation in turnover margin, playing smart, playing efficient. That was not the case because they played the best opponent they've seen all year.
Well, in the first game against Oklahoma, October 13th in Norman, the Tigers had some self-destructive mistakes in the second half. They also didn't have Tony Temple, their top running back, who was strong tonight. He could be a difference maker, and it's not in Norman. Somewhat neutral field in a dome, which this offense should like.
A couple things I see coming into this game. First of all, Oklahoma's probably going to be so tired of hearing about Chase Daniel in Missouri. They're going to be fired up to go up against the Tigers. Second thing is, as Chris touched on, this Missouri team went toe-to-toe in Norman with the Sooners. They're a much better team today going into San Antonio than where they were about 5 weeks ago when they had to play Oklahoma. They're going to go in there with a ton of confidence.
One thing I can guarantee you, Oklahoma's going to have to outscore them, because these guys can score against anybody I've seen all year, and they've scored over 30 points in every game.
Now, big fans for Oklahoma next week will be Ohio State. Buckeyes still a chance to get into the BCS championship game. West Virginia should be ranked number 2 in the standings behind Missouri. West Virginia, the backyard brawl against 4-7 Pittsburgh. Any trouble at all in Morgantown, or they smash them?
Forget about it. They got a chance to play for the national title. Those guys can run like crazy. They'll score 50 points. Easy.
Yeah, I don't think there's any concern at all for West Virginia, in my opinion. West Virginia will have the ability to dominate their game. It's going to come down to, can Missouri beat Oklahoma and advance, or do they lose and open the door for Ohio State? Because West Virginia, I think in all of our opinion, the consensus is they're in.
Strange deal for the Buckeyes to sit home thinking they'd beat Michigan, probably headed to the Rose Bowl. Now they don't know their destination.
They're waiting for the last couple weeks, right?
Let me tell you something. Oklahoma's a good football team.
Yes.
Ohio State is good enough to beat any of these football teams I've seen. They're a good football. So just because they're sneaking in the back door,
right,
they can play.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Bob Soup's Ohio guy, right? He could do the Buckeyes a big favor.
Youngstown, Ohio, same hometown as Jim Tressel.
Yeah. Exactly. Well,
the
season,
this week.
So many twists and turns. What lies ahead on the final Saturday here? We know this. Missouri heading to San Antonio, hard-earned champions of the Big 12 North, playing for a bigger trophy than the drum next week, and perhaps playing for the crystal ball, biggest trophy of them all, if they can knock off the Sooners. Let's go back to the studio.
Before I tell you about number 2 teams coming into tonight, Kansas had played 640 minutes of football and had trailed for a grand total of 27 minutes, 15 seconds. They never led against Missouri. All right, it's not been great at all to be number 2 this season, especially this month. The nation's second-ranked team has lost 3 of the 4 games this month and are just 2-6 since October 1st. Jayhawks coach Mark Mangino now still very proud of his team.
I feel like this team accomplished a lot. I mean, more than any other team in the history of Kansas football. I think that's a pretty good accomplishment right there, don't you think?
I had number 2 liquidated. All right, there are still 3 Pac-10 teams who can reach the Rose Bowl. We'll tell you about that scenario when SportsCenter returns.
Kentucky to 23 in a row, longest active run, and it was hairy. But the Volunteers got out of there with the 52-50 victory over the Wildcats. Glad to have you with us, and what a way to start on College Football Final, powered by Pontiac. you've already heard from Lou Holtz and Mark May. I'm Reese Davis. Isn't it the second place or the first place, either one, the place you want to be in to make it into the BCS national title game?
Absolutely.
You would think, but since the start of October, the team holding down the number 2 spot, 2-5. All 5 of the losses coming against unranked opponents. Guess the good news for number 2 Kansas, Missouri was not unranked. Missouri was number 4. Both teams pretty much, it would seem, controlling their destiny to get into the national title game. Gary Pinkel, his squad came out firing. Chase Daniel. Well, Daniel did this all night. Bought a little time with his feet, a little stocky guy, finding Temple, who got stopped just short of the goal line. It brings up a 4th down. They're going to go for it. What did you think of this play call on 4th down, Mark?
I thought they should have taken the ball and just punched it in, but Martin Rooker, the big tight end, comes up with it and scores.
Second quarter, Kansas threatening. Todd Reesing, first interception after 213 passes without a pick. Tigers take over. It was a great grab by William Moore. Ensuing drive, Daniel buys plenty of time and finds Denario Alexander.
The quarterback will usually scramble to the right. He buys time, makes a great throw, touchdown.
Tigers up 14-0, 21-0 before Kansas trying to get things going. Reesing firing down there, spectacular grab by Desmond Briscoe. It would set up a touchdown. Still in the third. Daniel, Derek Washington out of the backfield. Tigers go up 28-7. You know, Kansas had trailed for only 27 out of a possible 640 minutes, and they were behind all night in this one, but they never quit. Reesing, Fields, touchdown. Jayhawks within 10. Under 20 ticks to go, 34-28. Reesing, this was the last gasp effort, sacked. Safety, down go the Jayhawks. Their first loss of the season, 36-28, the final, and Missouri marches into the Big 12 championship game as the outright champion of the North.
And a telling stat here, the last 6 games, Kansas has forced 19 turnovers. In this game against Missouri, 0.
They led the nation in turnover margin, could not force the Tigers to make the costly mistake. And now Missouri, its eye on a Big 12 title, its eye on a national title. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso had their eye on Missouri and the quarterback.
Well, thanks. Yeah, Chase Daniel and the Tigers win 1 trophy, the chance to play for 2 more trophies in the coming weeks. Biggest game of your life, a lot of pressure, Chase. What allows you to play with such calm and composure in the big moments?
You know, the people behind me. You know, I have great playmakers with me, and you know, the coaches get me ready to play like this, and you know, you never really know how you're going to play, but you trust your preparation and go out and play as hard as you can.
Chase, you know, I thought the difference tonight in the team, your escapability was wonderful. You got away from them, you're looking downfield. What are you thinking? Because you went threw the ball beautifully.
Well, thank you very much. You know, I'm just trying to make some plays with my feet. You know, our offensive line did an unbelievable job blocking tonight. You know, we called out most of the blitzes. We knew they were coming. We got the line slid and had to make some plays with my feet, but my receivers came up big in the clutch.
Are you the number 1 team in the country?
I think so. You know, there's no reason why we shouldn't be.
Now, Oklahoma did beat you down there in Norman. The guys talked about some errors you made after you had the lead. Tony Temple, your top running back, was out and injured. What's going to be different the second time in San Antonio?
You know, we're just going to have to pitch and catch the ball. You know, we did that. We're going to have to cut down on our mistakes like we did today. I don't think we had a turnover on offense. So, you know, they're a tough team. You know, it's a neutral site, so hopefully we can get a lot of Missouri fans down there.
Sounds like you feel confident, though. You feel like you had them the first time, let it slip away.
Yeah, I mean, we were up 24-23 with about 8 or 9 minutes left in the game and just self-destructed. You know, we're a much more mature team. We're a weathered team. We played in big games like this one tonight, and, you know, we're ready for it.
It's all about the team, but your performance tonight, many people believe, will thrust you into Heisman candidacy with another big game next Saturday night. What do you think about that?
Hey, man, I'm just trying to win ball games for my you know, people, and you know, just got to keep it even keel, and we got a big one next week.
From the sideline, I love the way you look over the sideline and change the plays. Tell me a little bit about what that was going on the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, we just try to get ourselves in the best plays. You know, if we don't like them, sometimes we'll call timeout or change it. You know, Coach C, Coach Yost does an excellent job of changing plays when we need to. So, you know, that was a big deal for us tonight.
Very good.
Chase and the Tigers win the Border Showdown, win the Big 12 North. Next up, Oklahoma's rematch in San Antonio for the Big 12 Championship. If they win that, it's out of the Superdome. The BCS Championship game in all likelihood. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, Chris, sweet enough to win a bitter rivalry game like that with the high stakes. Missouri made it count. And is this the team that really has the inside track to New Orleans? They had a de facto championship game in the Big East. The Mountaineers put on a big-time show. And Frank Beamer and the Hokies had a chance to easy 45-12 win for the Gators. So these are the leading contenders for the Heisman and what they did this weekend. And I must point out, we've listed them in alphabetical order. Colt Brennan, all-time record in career touchdown passes. Chase Daniels been absolutely fabulous. McFadden was brilliant in Arkansas's win over LSU. Tebow, forget it. Tebow has tied Chance Harris with the 22 touchdown runs. He's also thrown for 20 or more, meaning he's the first 20-20 guy ever. Patrick White continues to run that offense to peak efficiency for West Virginia. But Tebow, the numbers have just been silly. Nobody's ever done what he's done as far as the 20 touchdown passes, 20 touchdown runs. The efficiency's been off the chart. Has he wrapped up the Heisman Trophy?
Yes, it's clear to me his regular season's over. He's got a bowl game left. It's done. It's over. 29 touchdown passes, 23 touchdown runs. It's done. Forget it. Give him the Heisman. Tell me one player in the SEC conference, which has always been the toughest conference year in and year out, has ever had 51 total touchdowns. Never happened before. May never happen again.
It would be over if there was only one vote and you had it, but unfortunately there are going to be a lot of other people voting. You look at what Chase Daniels has done in the month of November. He's averaging about 390 yards a game passing, something like that. He has thrown for 15 touchdowns and no interceptions. He has had a tremendous year. You also have to look at Pat White. And you mentioned Colt Brennan, but I think those three quarterbacks, Tebow, Chase Daniels, Pat White, and then, of course, the running back, Darren McFadden. One of those four will win it. Me personally, I like Tebow for what he has done.
I think the bottom line when you look at it, those are great numbers by great players that are playing on great teams, but it goes to the most outstanding player in the nation, not for a month, not for a game, not for a week, but the entire season. Tim Tebow, through the course of the entire season, has proven to everyone, 51 total touchdowns, that he deserves to win the Heisman Trophy. I don't care if he's a sophomore. I don't care if they have 3 losses. He is the most outstanding player in the nation.
Well, I want to tell you, he will not win it unanimously because there are going to be some people out there disagree with.
No one's ever won it unanimously.
Well, what about, okay, if he's the most outstanding player, you don't care about the losses of the class.
No.
What about McFadden?
Well, the numbers aren't there.
He's in the top 5 in
the
rushing.
numbers are good. He's had 2 great games. The one big game against South Carolina, 321 yards rushing. The huge game against LSU that we just saw this past week. But that's it. He's been okay during the season, but Houston Nutt can go ahead and campaign as much as he wants on CBS and talk about Lou and myself on there. But the bottom line is, it's Tim Tebow's Heisman.
Okay, fine. All right, Tebow's Heisman, but how much stock would you put in another great Chase Daniel performance? He was moving around with his feet, making plays with his arm. If he takes his team to the national championship game, he's been pretty solid all year, too. He avenges his only loss.
But I do believe this. I believe Tebow has been a candidate almost this entire year. Chase Daniels has sort of been under the radar. He's never had all that pressure. Granted, he's done a great job. But I think Tebow, the way he's run, the way he's thrown, the way he's competed, he's been a marked man. He does virtually everything. There's been a lot of injuries on that team. They haven't had Percy Harvin an awful lot. They haven't had Andre Caldwell, the fine receiver, et cetera. And every week, though, they have Tim Tebow.
Didn't you just say that, like Darren McFadden, Chase Daniel, all these other guys? And I'm saying Tim Tebow, so I guess I've swayed you.
No, you would never sway me. I wouldn't tell you that.
Tebow,
only my wife would.
Tebow, Daniel, both very deserving candidates for sure. Neither of those guys, the most valuable player on their team. At least you can't prove it right now, and I'm going to show you why. Oregon. The Ducks against UCLA, that is the most valuable player in college football because without Dennis Dick,